Welcome into another episode of Sharp Football Analysis. I'm Warren Sharp, joined by Rich Rebar and Raymond Summerlin. We are going to be breaking down some of the most interesting, strangest things. You could call them weird in some cases, but some of the moves that just left us scratching our heads so far in free agency 2026. Let's dig in. All right, one of the teams that obviously has needed some help, they fired their head coach and they've gone out and not really had a lot of success the last several years, was the Arizona Cardinals, Rich. And they made some moves so far in free agency that have just left you scratching your head and really hasn't answered very many of the questions that they have, of which they have a lot. So talk to us a little bit about the Cardinals.
Very interesting day one. I definitely didn't have Gardner Minshew signing on day one of free agency on my bingo card. And supposedly he was the backup choice that the contract talks with Jimmy Garoppolo fell through. And he was their second choice to bring in to compete with Jacoby Brissett and potentially start games. But I mean, this is just like a rudderless organization right now. Like, where are we headed? Obviously, a lot of people say, well, the tank is on. But Monty Ossenfort's in his fourth year as general manager. And this team has 4 fewer wins in 3 of the past 4 years. Like, what is the direction? What are we trying to accomplish here by bringing in Gardner Minshew? What are we trying to accomplish by bringing in Isaac Seumalo, who I like the signing in terms of like, what you got him for in terms of dollar amount, but what is he bringing to your team? What is Tyler Algier doing for the Arizona Cardinals next year? Like, Kendrick Bourne, like, what are we doing? Like, what is the plan here? Like, either you're in a position to, like, where you're like the Raiders, where you're trying to make like at least a splash and overpay for guys, or like you're just bringing in like all these mid-level guys. Like, I just don't really understand the plan. You've got 2 quarterbacks here that you're probably not going to win any games with. Maybe that puts them in like the Ty Simpson market at some point, if no one else moves back into the first round. But like, I just generally don't know what the Arizona Cardinals are trying to accomplish right now.
What are they doing, Warren? Like, what are we trying to do is kind of my question.
Well, they definitely made a lot of moves. To Rich's point, though, with Monty Ossenfort, this is why part of the reason why I'm so against GMs being able to linger long after a head coach was fired. Like, this is a group effort in many cases. And so I just don't see why you would entrust your continuation of, free agency money. Some of these deals, it all depends. The big numbers up front don't really represent what the deal is at the back end, and you could get out of them earlier or not. But this is your team's future. You're giving players millions of dollars, guaranteeing millions of dollars, and you got this walking dead GMs here that are making up things after they should have been fired. I just don't like that, and it's happened a lot this year across the NFL, and I just don't understand why owners are so reluctant to just rip the Band-Aid right off and just start anew with a brand new staff in the front office, from GM to coaching as well.
I think my pushback against this for the Cardinals would be, these are really low cost moves, like the guys that we're talking about. But like, my question would be, why are we doing this on day one? Like, why is this we're trying?
Like, these are all guys that would sign like next week.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I like Tyler Algier a lot. I think Tyler Algier is a very talented back. But didn't you just restructure James Conner to keep him in house? Like, what is Tyler Algier adding to you? You found Michael Wilson last year. You finally unleashed Michael Wilson. Why are you pushing on day one to sign Kendrick Bourne, who, again, it's not a bad contract. It's fine. Like, he made like $5 million a year. Making less than Jahan Dotson per year. I know that. And so like, ultimately this doesn't really matter, but it is kind of like, when we're talking about weird, we're talking about why are we signing Kendrick Bourne on day one? Like, it's an odd thing. I mentioned Jahan Dotson. That's mine. He's Penn State legend, Jahan Dotson. I have to say that off the top. So I'm trying not to, I can't really talk bad about, obviously, a Penn State legend. And he's only the 40th highest paid wide receiver. I was looking through it, like right around the 40th paid wide receiver. So I'm not going to go crazy against it. But doesn't it seem like that's still like a lot of money? $7 million a year is a lot of money to pay Jahan Dotson. Am I crazy for this? Doesn't that just feel weird to you when it came about? And also kind of the same thing, like, we're going out and getting him on day one of free agency. I mean, he got run out of Washington. He didn't get any targets behind AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. Fair enough. Those are 2 of the best receivers in the league. That offense doesn't throw a lot. That's fine. But even if you look at him in Philadelphia, he remained inefficient. He has a 56.8% career catch rate, 7.1 career yards per target. Maybe the Falcons are buying low. Maybe this works out. They obviously needed somebody as that number 2 wide receiver after getting rid of Darnell Mooney. So, maybe that's all fine. But I don't know. It just felt odd to me at this point in free agency that we just need to really go out and push to get Jahan Dotson. It was just a really strange. It's some of these names come across the wire and you're like, okay, like why are we doing this now? Why isn't this happening in a week? Like you said, Rich.
Yeah, I think a lot of this Jahan Dotson and guys like Zion Johnson, like you start to see like these former first round picks, and you start to see like, all right, well that GM was high on that player. They're like,
It's fair, yeah.
He is manager. They're gonna kick the tires on him. At least Dotson is like, I guess like you said, like kind of manageable, like in the Kendrick Bourne range. But I mean, we saw this again, like Titus Howard, Zion Johnson, the money that they were given. If you were a former first round pick, the NFL will always give you lifeline.
Yeah, and maybe it works out. I hope it works out, obviously, for our Penn State legend. I also was very confused, and we've talked a little bit about this throughout the course of kind of talking through free agency, about some of what the Titans did. And I know, Warren, that's one that you're a little bit confused about as well.
Yeah, maybe the only thing I could say about Jahan Dotson, Ray, that we don't know right now as to why they went out and rushed to get him is maybe he's just really good at catching balls from left-handed quarterbacks, because that's what the Atlanta Falcons are going to be trotting out, whether it is Tua or Penix at some point in the season. Yeah, look, Wan'Dale Robinson leads the list for me. He got the highest amount for the Tennessee Titans on a $70 million contract. I know it's over 4 years, average of $17.5 million. His guaranteed money is $38 million. That's wide receiver 23. And last year, I know this is more up your guys' alley from a fantasy perspective, but last year, even though some of his depth of target was increased and he was being used in more creative ways, out of 67 qualifying wide receivers, he still ranked number 62 in success rate, number 56 in dropped pass rate, number 58 in EPA per target, and number 49 in accurate target catch rate. He was always a player during the years that Brian Daboll was calling offense in New York, prior to that we were going under his longest reception on, because everything was so close to the line of scrimmage for Wan'Dale Robinson. Now, what is he going to be? I understand kind of the thought process that Brian Daboll obviously likes Wan'Dale Robinson, and he's sort of that security blanket type receiver, that quick outlet receiver that might help give a quarterback the sense of calm. I can always go to this guy. He's going to be available underneath for me to get the ball out quickly, to get easy completions, extension of run game, whatever you want to say about it. But at this price, that's what we're going for here. You don't think that we could maybe find another guy who can be similar to Wan'Dale Robinson for a lot less money? I just didn't see the need to incorporate that much into it. And the other discussion point here for the Tennessee Titans, and a lot of people have been talking about the fact that the Robert Saleh and Brian Daboll go out and bring on some of the players that they coached in some of their prior stops. I understand the familiarity there. However, those players, you coached them previously. They were part of your team that ultimately got you fired because that team wasn't good enough. And so in some cases, you might be going, well, this guy knows what I want. This guy will be dependable for me. But is he actually good enough to help you keep a job at a new team? You got a new opportunity to go to a new team, and you want to bring in a lot of your old players. That never really worked for Aaron Rodgers, a quarterback. I don't really know how many teams that is a go-to dependable move, especially in free agency on day one, right? Like it's totally different, as we were discussing before. You go out next week and get a guy at a bargain type price. That's one thing, but going out there on day one where you're overspending and acquiring these players, to me, it just felt pretty rich to be spending what they did on some of these individual players. Now, did they make their team better? Yes, they did, because they brought in some guys that are going to be able to contribute. But I just think that from a value perspective, they did not get very good value here. And left me scratching my head as to why you want so many of these players that cost you your job at other spots. Were those some of your thoughts on the Tennessee Titans, Ray, or do you have some other things to add?
Yeah, that's basically it. Like we're spending a lot on Robinson specifically. I'm very interested in what bringing in Robinson means, because you brought it up, kind of like who he is as a receiver. And last year he was used a lot more as a full field receiver. He set a career high in air yards per target. It snaps out wide, so playing on the boundary, in intermediate targets, so between 10 and 20, and deep targets and more than 20. And he set career highs across all of those numbers. So he was used way more in kind of that number one role without Malik Neighbors. Malik Neighbors, left early with injury, was lost for the season with his knee injury. Those numbers, though, those career highs for Wan'Dale Robinson, still among qualified receivers last year, ranked 75th, 83rd, 81st, and 60th. So this is a career high, and that's where we are. He's just not that kind of receiver. And I wonder if you mentioned, all right, so we have a quick, a guy that's going to get open quick and be a safety blanket for Cam Ward, but they need to build around Cam Ward. That's 100% true. Did you already maybe draft that guy in Chimere Dike last year? Like, could you have used him in that way and not spent this money here? I think, bringing in Robinson, who doesn't profile as like a clear number one, that suggests to me they're still going to be looking for that. Is it Calvin Ridley? Like, are we going to trust Calvin Ridley to be that? He is still on the roster, right? Like, he's still there, I think. And so, like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do with that? Like, yeah, it just raises a lot of questions about kind of what we want that offense to be and how we're going to use our guys. But I mean, ultimately, if we're just talking pure fantasy, Rich, we might be in the same situation here as we were with Calvin Ridley with Wan'Dale Robinson. Like, I mean, somebody's going to get targets, and he's earned targets his entire career. Maybe it just kind of works out, right?
I mean, the only thing I'll defend is, like, I still don't think they're done. I mean, I definitely think they're live to take a receiver at 4. Whether that be Carnell Tate or, definitely probably not Mekhi Lemon right now, considering that with DK and Wan'Dale Robinson, who don't have like they both play in the slot, but they don't have a complete overlap in terms of profile. And the only other thing I'll say is Wan'Dale Robinson, only 25 years old, 0 dead money after 2 years. So they had to spend it. They weren't going to get Alec Pierce. They're like, it was just, it is what it is. Right. So, this is one where I don't love on paper, but I'm kind of indifferent because there's 0 dead money after 2 years, and you just have to give Cam Ward dudes. You just have to.
Yeah, that roster. I mean, Dable goes down there, and that roster, looking at just what they were working with, is not a whole lot there to get anybody excited. And we have to jumpstart Cam Ward's confidence, his efficiency, his ability to sit in the pocket, get through his progressions, work the ball down the field. I mean, there are a lot of things that need to be improved with the Tennessee Titans offense this upcoming 2026 season. Well,
I just want to throw out real quick. Rich said, like, could they be a receiver at 4? Like, this really, they're going to draft Jeremiah Love, aren't they? Is that why the Saints and the Chiefs went out? Like, is the word out that the Titans are like, yeah, we're taking Jeremiah Love? Like, that's
I mean, this is where it would be kind of an egregious pick for him, but teams have done worse, right? Like,
I'm just saying, the Chiefs and the Saints both going out and paying top dollar for a running back suggests that they have pretty good intel that running back is not going to be available to them. And then you look at
I've always thought that Washington was the floor. Like, Dan Quinn has talked the entire offseason about them being more balanced running the football. That's why Cliff and him had like a departure. Like, they didn't agree. I always thought Washington was the floor. Like, there's no way he's getting past Washington.
All right, so maybe that's it. But I keep trying to find fits there, and obviously I don't want to.
And the Giants are live, I think, still too.
Long live Krosky Merritt. I think the Giants are a good call. I know Brendan Donahue, one of our mock draft experts. He's very.
But the Titans, I will say, on paper, them taking Jeremiah Love would be an egregious use of that capital.
Yeah, I'm just saying. So might Carnell Tate, but that's neither here nor there. We'll discuss that later.
That's Penn State bias. Get out of here.
All right, and that'll do it for this episode of Sharp Football Analysis. Make sure that you're subscribed over on YouTube, where we talk about free agency winners, free agency losers, some of our favorite moves, worst moves, some of the questions that we had, some of the steals, a lot more on separate videos over on YouTube. Make sure that you're subscribed in your favorite podcast app as well. Don't forget to be subscribed to our newsletter over at sharp.football, where you can get access to all of our off-season information. With that said, it's been great chatting with you boys. Talk to you guys soon.